thrilled to have Honorable Minister of Telangana, who is responsible for information technology, electronics and industries. Very atypical minister. And I have had the privilege of interacting with him. And I wanted to find out from him, what has he done to transform himself from the stage of being a professional, globally educated, to now leading such an important portfolio in this state, a startup state. What changes you had to bring about and what motivated you to be in this space?
Well, as I was telling you a bit while ago, I think our country at this point in time, and the countrymen more so, are of a certain expectation or have certain expectations of the political class. Unfortunately, there's a huge disconnect between what the countrymen want and what kind of politicians we have produced. In fact, if you look at us as a country in the last 25 years or so, I think we've transformed ourselves into a large global economy, if I can use the word, because end of the day, today Indians, young Indians more so, right, that is half of our population, has a worldview, has a world exposure, and they are definitely expecting that their politicians also are up to speed with them. So when you talk to them, when you actually imbibe part of that energy, I think it automatically elevates your game, it automatically helps you understand what it is that they want, and therefore you actually start imbibing some of their energy. I was a working professional about 12 years back, and I obviously received some part of my formal education in the United States and then started working there, imbibed some of the good traits from the work culture there, and then when I came back to India, I worked here for a couple of years as well. Eventually, when I moved into my new profession in public life, politics, it did take a bit of time for me to actually get into the groove. But once you start understanding people and their expectations, I think you start delivering. And today, I can say it with a lot of confidence that our Chief Minister has given us an opportunity to make a clean slate beginning by way of leading a new state. And today, we are imbibing the best practices. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're imbibing the best practices from across the world. For example, when it came to ease of doing business, we studied the model of Singapore. When it came to cost and quality of doing business, we tried to look at the United States and what they do. Because our Chief Minister believes in minimum government and maximum governance. He is of a firm belief. He repeats it very, very often. He says, governance is not about seeing a cop every 100 meters. Governance is something that should be felt, not seen or heard. I've lived in the United States for about 8 years. And in those 8 years, I only had to go to a government office once to get my driver's license for obvious reasons. So that's the kind of governance we visualize. That's the kind of growth. That's the kind of evolution that we see coming about in India. And if Telangana has to lead this change, so be it, because we call ourselves, we take a lot of pride in calling ourselves a startup state. And we have done some things which are truly path-breaking, and I hope the rest of the country will also follow.
My second question is, how do you deal with duality of rural Telangana and urban Telangana? Urban Telangana focused on IT cloud, rural Telangana focused on monsoon cloud. How do you transition between these two clouds, and how do you bring value to these two constituents? And what does it take in your profession to be adaptive in these dual worlds?
Ganesh, I'll tell you honestly, people of this country, or people of any country for that matter, don't expect miracles from their government. They expect the basic things to be taken care of. For instance, they expect that their safety is taken care of. They expect that jobs are created. They expect basic infrastructure, be it power, water supply, roads, parks, these are taken care of. Beyond that, people do not have many expectations of any government, be it rural India or urban India. My firm belief is that at this point in time, we are truly witnessing a transformation, not just among the political class, but also within India. Because in this information age, in this knowledge economy, I think information is everywhere. There are satellite channels and beaming into a dwelling in rural India, almost 500 plus channels beaming in. So information is everywhere. The stories are everywhere. They know what to expect, and there's a set of expectations. So the monsoon cloud is not as different, from a public cloud that we use in our government here. But end of the day, like I said, I think the biggest challenge in adopting, in being adaptive across different sections within the country or within our state is the ability to integrate, or the ability to actually find that one common thread, or find that alignment of expectations between what the people want versus what we have to offer. And definitely, I believe we are on the right path because our Chief Minister, like I was mentioning, is a man who's focused on the basics. He comes from the grassroots. But at the same time, he also understands how to leverage technology, how to bring about that social transformation or social change in an expedited fashion.
Fantastic. Last, what are the 2-3 things you would want professionals, whether it's senior professionals, to take away when they have to transform and become successful in this new digital world? Based on your experience of becoming from a working professional to a very atypical politician who is spearheading transformation with support of your Chief Minister, and what you are doing for this state, what would be those 2-3 attributes which you want to leave with?
Well, firstly, don't reinvent the wheel. People are working day in, day out. People are, doing different things. I think the information is everywhere. So don't reinvent the wheel. If you have to, do something, try and find out if there is a best practice. Try and find out if somebody's already done it, and then just emulate it. If it is something typical, but if it's something atypical, then most definitely I would say, don't settle. Don't settle. Don't settle for anything, less than success, anything less than excellence. The last thing I would say, India as a country has not, experienced large-scale entrepreneurship. I think we have to, as a society, start celebrating our failures. I think as a society, we've shunned people from getting into entrepreneurial mode. And at this point in time, I think we have to listen more often and celebrate failure. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And let's hope for fantastic partnership together.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you, Ganesh.